So, different take, 2025 PLRB Claims Conference. We are at the Flippery Noodle, which is the oldest bar in Indiana. Haunted. You afraid of ghosts?
Yes.
Okay. Good place. And also the scene of a Dillinger shootout. So, we're going to get a tour of some bullet holes, but I am here with the Elysian team. Who am I speaking with?
Erin Bornholm, Director of Claim Operations.
And
Betsy Duncan, Director of Technical Claims.
what is Elysian? What do you guys do?
So Elysian is a startup TPA founded by Grace Hansen, who's a former Chief Claims Officer of multiple companies and a litigator, based on understanding that adjusters have a very difficult job and we have poorly managed it within the industry with very traditional claims management systems that do nothing but create metrics for them to follow and don't support them. So we are building a proprietary claim platform, which isn't AI enabled, it is AI. And it will support them through every step of the claim handling process, providing them with summarization, contextualization of documentation, and next steps so that they can be the decision maker and analysts we hire them to be and not an admin performing menial tasks.
So, adjusters have it difficult. I'm still processing everything that you just said. So trying to understand like the difference. Why does Elysian need to exist? Can you talk about the before and after? Like what a workflow or what some of the impediments were before Elysian and what you're solving for?
Sure. So it's actually good timing because we just completed an exercise where we mapped out every task and activity associated with the claim throughout the entire life cycle. First notice of loss all the way to claim closure. And on any given claim, you're probably talking about 150 tasks or activities that could occur, and some of them may happen multiple times. So single claim, 150 tasks or activities across the life cycle of a claim. 60 to 70% of those tasks and activities are administrative in nature. They do not require a licensed adjuster to transact, and the adjuster is basically completely burdened with that type of work on their desk when what they are most passionate about is the critical thinking, the looking at coverage, the negotiating, the investigating. Long story short, what Elysian is bringing in is a couple of things. One, automating things where it can. Two, assigning tasks and activities to the right resource, getting it off of the adjuster's desk if it can't be automated. Three, as Betsy was sharing, providing decision support where enough information is on the file. Our proprietary technology will say, adjuster, you have enough information to make a claim coverage decision, and here's what we recommend. Or adjuster, more information has presented itself. We need to update the reserve. This is the recommended value. The biggest piece, however, is that the human adjuster is always in the loop. They need to be there to validate everything. So the before, incredibly administratively burdensome, the adjusters are just being completely bogged down with those tasks and activities. Future state where we would like to get to is exception-based claim handling. Gone are the days of the pendings and the manual diaries, and you just come in and our proprietary technology is asking them to opine on the claims that need a licensed adjuster's expertise.
And similar, the pre-conversation we were having downstairs, we were talking about, you even brought up the regulatory environment that it's in, the judicial or the litigative environment that it's in, and that your systems are actually counseling and guiding the adjuster in terms of this isn't Kansas anymore. Here's how you might want to think about this based off of the regulatory background or I'm using the wrong word. I don't know what the word is. The judicial background.
Venue specific.
Yes, about what's happening.
So it's not yet. It needs to learn. But there is so much public information about case evaluation, local laws, local implications for certain types of claim handling that come from the departments of insurance that adjusters have to be able to know when we're handling 50 states. They can't possibly know that. They can't possibly know that in this particular venue, with this particular series of courts, these verdicts have been tracking XYZ high. We're teaching it to go out after that information, provide the kinds of tools that an adjuster would want to know to make the appropriate decision so that they don't let it linger.
And a big part is what you initially said is this is an AI-based tool. So this isn't like you're almost building it to learn over time. So the system gets stronger and stronger over time.
Correct. We are spending almost
every single moment of our day right now, coming up with the technology we would like it to have, what we want it to look like. What does an adjuster want? What would make it better? And then it's up to the engineers to go, where would we find that information? And I put it this way as easily as I can. We in claims are taught to identify problems and then come to a resolution. The engineers aren't taught to identify a problem. They're taught to think of solutions they haven't gotten to yet, and that's what they're working on.
Yeah. So this seems like where the future of claims should occur. I want to go back to what you said, which is taking the burden off of the adjusters. So there, with these kinds of systems, we're trending towards a situation where a lot of claims could be settled without a human potentially looking at it, like that almost, I don't want to say instantaneous, but something like that.
I think there's a subset, a small segment of claims that are truly just transactional. You're submitting an invoice for a windshield that was broken, something to that effect, where it's all very rule-based. But I would say where we're headed, we're in the commercial general liability, commercial auto, commercial property space, and the sky's the limit after that. But I believe truly that in the near term, we're going to require a human in the loop to be able to validate our technology. And like you both were just describing, anytime that an adjuster disagrees with what our proprietary technology is recommending, it is modifying that, the adjuster's modifying that, and that feedback is shared right back with the engineering and product folks. So it's like machine learning. It continues to learn and get better over time.
There's been so much publicity around nuclear verdicts, social inflation. I live in Florida. We've just come through a litigation crisis. And I feel like much of this is our fault. It's self-inflicted wounds sort of thing. It sounds like with this kind of technology, this could give the adjuster more ammunition to be more proactive, but also stop these things from getting out of control.
I wholeheartedly agree. The only way to really combat litigation is to prevent it. One, analyze the initial handling appropriately and retain that information that you would need for defense. Two, and then three, when the suit is filed, decide earlier, are you going to fight? Are you going to settle? And if you're going to settle, do that faster.
Almost in a similar way to what I'm hearing about plaintiffs' attorneys, that they're playing Moneyball in the early stages. So as cases come in, they're actually assigning probabilities and outcomes and essentially creating like a score. And if the score exceeds a certain threshold, let's go, move forward. If it's below a threshold, kick it to someone else. They dump it. Sounds like we should be doing the same thing.
Yes, and I think we'll have the opportunity to create models that will predict litigation propensity when claims come in and iterate over time so you can identify those high-risk claims. But I think what I'm most excited about is by removing the burden off of the adjuster, giving them some time back, they're going to actually be able to spend time talking to the claimants, the policyholders, educating them on the process. Right now, they're just putting out fires. If you could educate folks on the process and follow through on your commitments, it's much more likely that things are not going to go sideways. And that's what my hope would be.
Let's end on a brighter note. Who has the best lobster? Maine, Massachusetts, or Rhode Island?
Oh, I've had all three. I got to go with Maine, to be honest.
Do you agree?
Agree with Maine. And I'm from Rhode Island, so yes.
I agree. I think it's Maine. So, colder water. So anyways, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.